Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo, and welcome to another edition of the Backstage Podcast. Man, I am so excited to have this friend of mine on here. I mean, I call him the dental wealth guy because he helps dental professionals grow their wealth, but also he makes sure that we don't make some financial mistakes, okay? That is so huge. It's my friend, the dental wealth guy himself, Tim McNeely. Tim, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Glenn, it is so good to be here with you today.
So you look, man, I'm just gonna dive right into it. I mean, you've been helping so many people, whether it's your books, whether it's all the content you have on social media, with your podcast. You help so many dental professionals when it comes to wealth building. And I have to ask you this: what caused you to want to work with crazy people like dental professionals? Why, man?
I mean, literally, I fell in love with dentistry. It's true, right? Like most people, right? You know how it is. You get those patients who come in and say, "Man, I hate the dentist," and I have some doctors who say, "Well, that's fine. I hate patients." But like literally, I fell in love with dentistry when I ended up marrying a dentist, and so it's really all my wife's fault that I have a career in dentistry.
I love that. I love that. That's such a big reason. And so, I think that's also important because it's one thing to talk to dentists all day. It's another thing to have dinner with a dentist, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a dentist. So you understand very intimately the obstacles and the challenges we face on a daily basis running our practice, right? Then after you run our practice, we got to figure out a way to keep a couple of bucks for ourselves, and then also figure out a way where we don't have to work forever because in dentistry, you know how tough of a profession it is physically, also mentally as well. And we try to work as long as we can, but that's not like a given. So you understand so intimately what we go through. Let me ask you this. If you're a dentist right now, if there's a dentist right now listening and they're not working with a wealth planner, what are some of the things that we're missing if we're not doing that?
Man, the thing that I see missed all the time, and the biggest problem that no one really talks about out there is fragmented advice. Right, all
Fragmented.
those things you just mentioned, right? Working on your practice, the
Hmm.
business planning side, the personal planning side, those are separate disciplines. They're certainly connected, but they're separate disciplines, and the skills it takes to grow and manage and build your practice is separate from the skills that are required to build and grow wealth outside of your practice. And that's one of the things that I do. It's multidisciplinary, and I bring those two skills together in a unique way because the decisions you make in your business actually impact your personal side. And this is the wealth fragmentation that takes place is you've got different advisors, everyone's recommending something different for you, and you get pulled in a gazillion directions and you don't actually know what advice to follow. And we've actually underwritten some research. And in the latest study that I just did, we studied families worth $25 million dollars or more. So these are people you would think that have their act together. And what we found is wealth fragmentation, that using different advisors, having different silos, and advisors who don't talk to each other cost you 20 to 30% of your net worth over time.
Oh my
Like, like
gosh.
think about that. If you're worth $10 million, dollars, that's a $2 to $3 million impact that you have lost because of poor coordination, because of your time being lost, and because of lack of confidence, because no one's actually tying everything together for you. So the costs are very, very real. And that's the biggest mistake I see today is you listening to multiple advisors and no one serving as the general contractor for your financial life. You have
Yeah.
no blueprint and you have no idea how all these things fit together.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And I wanted to point out that the fact that you are married to a dentist, you understand who has her own practice. You understand a lot of the things that we go through. And that's what makes you really qualified to work with dental professionals because you know what we're going through. You know about our loans, our practice loan, all these different things. I like lists. And since I have you here, let's go through a list of, let's say, top three things that dentists are missing. You already said that the fragmentation, that's a big one. But what are three other things that dentists who are just kind of winging it, they're like, hey, I'll just invest in the S&P 500, right? And I'll do some Bitcoin and I'll just join some Facebook groups and just listen and join a real estate group and dabble in real estate. If that's all they're doing, right? what are three things that they're missing out right now that you can just share right now that you see that dentists make the three big mistakes or the three things that they're missing out by not working with someone who's in your profession, Tim?
So the three things that I see dentists lose by not working with a competent wealth advisor who can tie everything together is the first thing is you're losing time. You're spending too much time trying to do all of this. The
Yeah.
second thing is you are leaking money through overpaying in taxes, through overpaying in products and services. And the last thing is you are lacking confidence in your plans because it's all haphazard. So how do you correct that? First thing you do is actually get a comprehensive blueprint, tie it all together. Where do I see doctors leak the most money? It's in terms of their tax planning and the
Yeah.
qualified plans that they have in their practice, right? I just priced another plan for a doctor last night. We're saving him a couple $1,000s a year now, and he
Wow.
thought he was already optimized, and we're getting him more money in his pocket. And he thought he was with the best, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think you guys can beat my plan," and we did because you
Yeah.
just don't know. So first, comprehensive blueprint. Second, review your qualified plan. And then lastly, the biggest thing that I would tell you to do is really tie together the business and the personal life. And as a
Yeah.
certified exit planning advisor, that's what I do is we look at the valuation of the business. And the second thing we do is we tie it in with your personal side. So those are the three things that I would really focus on. Get a comprehensive plan, make sure you drive your tax bill down, and then lastly, tie together the practice and the personal side of life.
Well, I think right now, for anyone who's watching and listening right now, if you don't have those three things dialed in, you need to talk to Tim. I mean, again, you need to talk to Tim. Now, another reason why they should talk to you is we didn't even talk about this, but there is a degree of risks that we take by being dental professionals, by being practice owners, right? A big risk is building up your wealth and accumulating all this wealth and resources and not being able to pass that on to the people that care about the most.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we've seen many stories of dentists and dental professionals, heck, people even in our lives, that tragedy struck and something happened, right? You don't ever, think that's going to happen to you, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan. Let's talk about, preparing for the worst, right? Whether it's like a will and a trust. Talk about that because I think a lot of times dental professionals, they don't know when is the right time. Tim, let me ask you this. When's the right time to do that?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. And the second best time is today. But I'll actually pull back just a little bit before even answering that question about, how do you do your wills? How do you do your trust? How do you protect your assets? Because I want to give you a framework for understanding everything that we're talking about today,
Yeah.
Glenn. And that framework is wealth management. And that's a buzzword. It gets passed around, right? You talk to 10 different, wealth advisors, you will get 10 different definitions of wealth management. And most of them are going to center around here's how you invest your money, here's how we do the asset allocation. And that's super important. That's investment consulting, but that's only one singular element of wealth management. The next piece of wealth management is advanced planning. What's advanced planning? There's four areas, and you just mentioned one of them, and that's wealth transfer, getting your money, your assets to the next generation that you care about. But the other three key areas of advanced planning are wealth enhancement, which is the tax mitigation piece. There is the wealth protection, making sure everything you've worked so hard for isn't unjustly taken from lawsuit, divorce, or some other unjust means. And then lastly, about one third of the people I work with, you're very charitably inclined. You want to take care of the causes that matter. And
Yeah.
that's the charitable thing. And that's what advanced planning ties together are those four areas. So you've got investment consulting plus advanced planning. And then lastly is relationship management. Because to do this, to really drive all those advanced planning strategies, you have to have a team of people. I am not an expert in everything, nor will I ever be an expert in everything. I am the general contractor, and we will bring in the right professionals at the right time. So if all of a sudden we're reviewing your wills and trusts, or you don't have one, which a lot of doctors don't, and if you want to get one, we'll put it together real easy for you. But get that will and trust in place. Protect your family, protect the people you love. If you own a practice, if you own a house, and if you don't have your estate planning done, like let's get that done for you.
You needed that yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
You needed that yesterday. Okay, so look, Tim, I mean, I am fortunate to have a great relationship with you, and we see each other a lot, and I'm always asking you different questions, and I feel fortunate to have you in my corner here. For those who don't have a Tim in their life, but they'd like to have a Tim in their life, what's the best way to kind of get started? Is there like an application or something? Is it really complicated? How do they start kind of like learning about what some of the blind spots they have, and ways that they can kind of like be protected?
Yeah. First, I'm going to give a shout out to you, Glenn. Nifty Thrifty is the place to learn about these. We're having
There you go.
amazing discussions all the time in there, and I'm constantly posting. We're having amazing discussions, amazing engagement. So get into Nifty Thrifty. That's the easiest, simplest, quickest way to do this. Like I said, I want to give you a shout out for that community that you have created there because this is a great place to do that. Secondarily, like get a second opinion on your wealth. One of the other biggest mistakes that I see all the time is this thinking of everything okay. I've got my plans, I've got two or three advisors, like everything's okay. And that's a myth that you believe is everything is okay.
Yeah.
And, I believe my health is okay, but you know what I do every single year? I show up for an annual physical. I
Yeah.
want to see my doctor. I want to get the blood work done. I want to do what our president, Ronald Reagan, says trust, but verify. So
Yeah.
get a second opinion. Make sure that your plans are actually going to deliver the results that you expect. And actually, this once again is a playbook from the super rich. The super rich and their teams, their family offices, over the last 5 years, 86.9% of them have done a stress test of their wealth plans. These are the families that you would think have everything together. They're always stress testing and reviewing their plans to make sure they're taking advantage of all the opportunities that are out there and avoiding costly errors out of the way. So get that stress test,
Wow.
run your plans. That's the second thing you can do. First, jump into the community. Second, stress test. And then third, you can reach out to me. I'm easy to find. TimMcNeely.com. I'm all over Nifty and happy to help you and work with you on creating that second opinion and doing that stress test so you can have more time, more money, and more confidence.
I love it. Guys, reach out. I mean, again, Tim is a wealth of knowledge, and if he doesn't have the answers, he has a team that can provide those answers. But look, if you don't have a professional working on helping you build your wealth, if you don't have a will and a trust, if you don't have an exit strategy, if you don't have any of those three things, you need to talk to Tim. Tim, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast, and we look forward to bring you on more times because there's so much more that you can share with us.
We'll have to do some in-depth episodes on each one of these because every single one of these is a topic unto itself.
Thanks, Tim. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.